in FI world, there's this term called FU money. So, you want to reach that stage of when you have so much of money that you can do whatever you want with it. And I was like, that's what I want to reach. Like, I want to reach that stage of FU money, that I have so much that I never have to worry about money anymore, because my whole marriage, my ex controlled me about money. I had no control over my money. And when I left him, he had told me that I would come back to him. And and I told him I would never ever come back, not to him, to any man, because I can build my own.
Hey, this is Neeti, and what you're about to hear today is a very special episode with one of the members from our portfolio program.
We call these Sensei Sessions. These interviews are designed to give you perspective about what you can achieve with the right strategies and execution.
I hope you enjoy this episode, and for free resources, check out our show notes section to see how you can build and scale your portfolio.
Welcome to the Sensei panel.
Thank you. I'm Anita Verma. I live in Portland, Oregon. I invest in Baltimore. My estimated ARV for my two properties is around $550K.
Awesome. Why real estate? Why the mission behind why you're doing what you're doing here?
So for me, my story is a little different. I started this late. I'm older. I got out of my marriage 10 years back. And at that point of time, I left with very little money. I did a mediation and walked out. I was 19 years in that marriage. And for the next 10 years, I built my own financial, I was FI by the end of 10 years. I put my two kids through college, and I reached a stage where I felt like I could retire, paid off my mortgage, worked
Wow.
really hard. I knew nothing about stocks, and I built my portfolio that way. And I knew that I was done with the corporate world. I was like, I cannot be in these meetings. I don't want, I had so much of stress in my life. I wanted to just retire and relax. But I also knew that I'm not the type to just sit and relax. And I've always been interested in real estate. So in FI world, there's this term called FU money. So, you want to reach that stage of when you have so much of money that you can do whatever you want with it. And I was like, that's what I want to reach. Like, I want to reach that stage of FU money, that I have so much that I never have to worry about money anymore, because my whole marriage, my ex controlled me about money. I had no control over my money. And when I left him, he had told me that I would come back to him. And I told him I would never, ever come back, not to him, to any man, because I can build my own. And so that is my why. And also, like Kendra said, there are a lot of causes. I love dogs, and especially pits. I rescue pits, I foster them. And I also help a lot of street dog foundations in India. So for me, I want to give back as much as I can in the causes that I believe in. So that's my way.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for sharing. What are some of the biggest lessons, some transformations that you've had working in this program?
So I think my biggest transformation is my mindset, because, I'm Asian, and for me, it was always saving, and it was not about spending. So, you pay your mortgage, you finish that, you save it, for your retirement. And here, I'm going to retire and then do real estate. That means I'm going to be putting money out of my own pocket, which was so fearful for me. So even after I joined the program, I had cold feet for 6 months. I was just like, I can't do it. There was so much of doubt and fear. I was like, finally, I'm in this stage of my life where I can retire, and here I could lose everything by doing something like this. And the decision, so there was this one quote that I really loved, that I kept reading. It is, doubt is not a lack of trust, it is 100% trust in a negative belief that doesn't serve you. And for me, like, I need to research on everything before I take an action, do something like that. And so I really was like, why am I having this doubt? And I, speaking to people, and I was like, when I spoke to like Apurva and stuff, and she's like, just buy the house. Even if you feel it's the worst one, like after rehab, you can sell it. Like, you're not going to really lose much. And I think the modules, like, the trust in the program, like it's worked for so many people. Like you hear coming to these calls that people like Anne and Randy, like their portfolio is growing. Like they are doing the same thing. They have the same modules. They are doing like, why can't I do it? And so it was just that breaking that barrier of doubt in my life. And then I also realized that I'm a completely different person. Like I used to have this victim mentality, when something goes wrong, I sort of wallow in that, oh, why? And I realized that's become very short for me. Like I've had to work so hard for my first deal. I had multiple offers that went off and, they fell through at the last minute. But I was like, within an hour, I was like back analyzing deals again. And so I feel like there is firstly this community where you can always ask the modules, and then if it's worked for so many people, it has to work for you, and there's nothing that you cannot do. And so I think I'm a completely different person than when I joined. And like Kendra said, this program really gives you an insight as to who you are, because sometimes I had a very difficult contractor, and he used to be like, his behavior was, I realized at one point, like I used to dread speaking to him, and I used to get knots in my stomach, and it was just so crazy. And I realized, oh my God, he's making me feel exactly like my ex. Like it was like I left him and I'm still back in the same place. And I had to make the decision that I'm going to fire this guy. And then I fired him, and it just felt like such a victory. But this program really helps to show you what your strengths and weaknesses are and what you need to change. So,
How did you narrow down your neighborhood?
this was a huge thing for me. I was like, where do I invest? And, I live in Portland, Oregon, where the prices are so high. It was not possible to really find distressed homes. So I knew I did a lot of research, and Baltimore was one city where, there was a lot of money being poured to really build up the city. And also I found out that, there were tech companies that were moving in. But Baltimore is a little tricky. It's very much block by block. You can't really do by zip codes. And so I had to do a lot of research, to see the neighboring zip codes, understand which are the main highways. And I did what Neeti does, look for distress, check the zip codes, see if there are distressed properties, then see if they're on rent, see if there are, enough rehabs going. And then Baltimore also has a website which tells you what are the homes nearby, and you can check if they're boarded or not. So you want to avoid those. So, doing your own research, looking at the crime. So actually my two properties, they're in different zip codes. And I don't even, I'm also looking for a secondary market. I think the main thing is you can't go wrong. Just do it. And really put simply saying, and then this program gives you so much of confidence. Like I started looking in my own backyard. I'm like, I should invest in Portland, that for equity. Like, why am I going so far out in the East? And things like that, which I would not even think about a year back. So I think just doing what, Neeti tells you in the program and what's in the modules, you cannot go wrong. Just choose one and then go ahead.
How did you find your latest deal, and kind of like the people you depended on to help you with that?
Yeah, my realtor actually brought my latest deal to me, and both my deals are through MLS. And so, yeah.
Okay. Is it a realtor how did you find this person?
So when I had done the research, and she was one of the realtors that came up for me in the bigger pockets. And then I met her when I went to Baltimore, and we just clicked. And she's been great. And so I've been working with her. And yeah, she got me this really great deal. The house is right in front of a park. It's in an upcoming area, and it was a good price and numbers worked. And so yeah, the
That's
second one
amazing.
came easy for all the hard work that I did on the first. So
Did you travel from Portland to Baltimore? Like, how often did you do that?
I've actually done it 3 times. I've traveled to Baltimore 3 times, but then my sister lives in New Jersey.
Oh,
So, for me, I go to New Jersey, stay there, and then I take the train ride to Baltimore, spend a day, and then go back. And
fun. Thank you. get to see your family too when you're visiting
Yeah.
the property. Thank you for being here, for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom.
When you're ready to get serious, you can join us at theinvestoraccelerator.com.
It's like getting 1,000 episodes worth of information in 5 days, and it's everything you need to build your actionable plan to financial freedom and making work optional.